Today, I want to share a story that's going to tug at your heartstrings. It's one of those stories that show how, even in the midst of the daily grind, surrounded by grease, noise, and the toughness of hard work, life can surprise you with moments of pure empathy, care, and humanity. This is the story of a mechanic, an ordinary guy with oil-stained hands, who, on a random day, became an unlikely hero for a very special little creature. A tiny kitten trapped in a car engine. So get comfortable, because this story is one that warms the heart and reminds us that sometimes the most beautiful things happen when we least expect them. Let's dive in. Picture a mechanic shop. You know the vibe. Smell of gasoline, tools scattered everywhere, the constant clanging of metal on metal, engines humming and mechanics working non-stop. It's a place where the pace is relentless, where every car that rolls in has a problem to fix, and time is always tight. In this setting, we have our main character, John. He's a seasoned mechanic, the kind of guy who's seen it all. Busted engines, flat tires, anxious customers. John knows every part of a car like the back of his hand. He works in a small shop in a little town where everyone knows each other, but life never slows down. It's a hot day. The sun is blazing outside, and the shop is packed. A customer pulls in with a car making a weird noise. Something's off. John, as usual, takes the car, parks it in the bay, and pops the hood to check it out. He's ready to start diagnosing, already thinking through the possibilities. Maybe the belt, the alternator, or something in the radiator. But then, as he's leaning over the engine, he hears something. A sound that doesn't belong in the usual shop noise. A faint, almost muffled sound, but one that cuts straight to the heart. A meow. John freezes. He looks around, thinking maybe it's a cat in the street or some animal nearby. But the sound comes again, clearer this time, and he realizes it's coming from inside the car. From the engine, to be exact. His heart races. He knows this isn't normal, that an animal stuck in there is a serious situation. He calls over his coworker, Luis, who's working in the next bay, and says, "Man, there's something alive in there, I swear! It's a cat!" Luis, half skeptical, comes over, and they both start listening closely. And sure enough, there it is. Desperate meows, like a cry for help. Now let me tell you a bit about what was going on in there. The kitten, a tiny little thing, probably no more than a month old, was curled up in a tight corner of the engine, wedged between hot parts, wires, and metal. You know how a car's engine compartment is, right? It's a dangerous place, full of sharp edges, burning hot components, and barely any room for an animal to move. The kitten was covered in grease, its fur matted, eyes wide with fear, and clearly starving. How it got there? That's a mystery. It probably crawled in looking for a warm, safe spot, as cats love to do, and got trapped when the car was started and driven to the shop. The fact is, in that moment, it was in danger. If the engine had been turned on again, or if no one had heard those meows, this story could have had a very sad ending. But thanks to John's sharp ears, that wouldn't be the case. John knew he had to act fast but carefully. He wasn't a vet, but he'd handled tough situations in the shop before, and this one called for all his patience. He grabs a flashlight and starts shining it into the engine, trying to spot the kitten. It wasn't easy. The little thing was so tucked away, so hidden, that it was hard to even see where it was. The meows kept coming, but the space was tight, and any wrong move could hurt the kitten. John decides he needs to take apart some engine parts to get access. He grabs his tools, a screwdriver, a ratchet, a pair of pliers, and starts working with a gentleness you wouldn't expect from a guy who spends his days wrestling heavy machinery. He removes parts one by one, slowly, while talking to the kitten, not even sure if it understands. "Hang in there, little one. We're gonna get you out. Just hold on." Luis, watching, starts helping, holding the flashlight and passing tools. The two become an unlikely team, working together to save this tiny creature they don't even know. The shop, which was buzzing with noise before, is now almost silent except for the meows and the sound of tools. The other mechanics start gathering around, curious, and the atmosphere gets tense. Everyone wants to know if the kitten's going to make it out alive. Minutes pass, and each second feels like forever. John's sweating, not just from the heat, but from the pressure. He knows one wrong move could be disastrous. He finally spots the kitten, but it's so scared that when he tries to reach for it, it shrinks back even further, trying to hide in an even tighter spot. John takes a deep breath, asks Luis to grab a cloth, something to wrap the kitten in to keep it from getting hurt. Luis runs to the shop's storage, grabs an old but clean rag, and hurries back. John, with all the calm in the world, wraps his hand in the cloth and tries again. This time he gets it. He feels the tiny, trembling body and, with the utmost care, pulls the kitten out. When he finally frees the little guy, the whole shop breathes a sigh of relief. The kitten is in John's hands, covered in grease, eyes wide but alive. Alive! The mechanics start clapping, laughing, and cheering like it's a team victory. John holds the kitten carefully, like it's the most precious thing in the world. He takes it to a quieter corner of the shop, grabs a bottle of water and a clean rag to try and wipe off some of the grease. The kitten, still scared, starts to calm down with John's gentle touch. It meows weakly, but now it's a different kind of meow, almost like relief. John notices the little thing is starving, so he asks Luis to run to a nearby store to grab some milk or kitten food. Meanwhile, he stays there holding the kitten, trying to keep it warm. When Luis comes back with a can of kitten food, John improvises a little dish with a tin lid and puts some food out. The kitten, still a bit wary, starts eating slowly, and it's like everyone in the shop feels the same relief as the little creature. But the story doesn't end there. John, who never thought about having a pet, looks at that kitten and feels something shift. He thinks about the life the kitten could have had, stuck in that engine or abandoned on the streets. He thinks about how lucky it was that he heard those meows. And in that moment, he makes a decision. He's not going to leave the kitten behind. He decides he's going to take it home. After finishing his shift, John takes the kitten to a vet to make sure it's okay. The vet says the kitten is malnourished and dehydrated, but otherwise healthy. With some care, it'll be fine. John heads home with the kitten, now clean, fed, and wrapped in a warm towel. He gives it a name, Motor, because, well, where else would he have found this little friend? In the days that follow, Motor starts settling into his new home. He follows John around, sleeps in a corner of the couch, and even starts playing with a crumpled-up paper ball John tosses for him. The shop, once just grease and noise, now has a story to tell. Everyone who comes in hears about the day John saved a kitten from a car engine. And John? He's still the same mechanic, but now with a little buddy who's brought a bit more lightness to his life. This story is about empathy, about stopping in the middle of the chaos to hear a cry for help, even if it's from a tiny creature. It's about finding purpose in the most unexpected moments. And above all, it's about how a simple act can change a life, the kitten's and maybe even John's. So, what did you think of this story? Let me know in the comments. And if you've ever rescued an animal or had a moment of empathy that stuck with you, I want to hear about it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next stories. See you next time, folks.